Thank you so much for tuning in to Champions TV. Welcome to our program Culture and Christianity. I'm Mercy Kiare, and tonight we're going to talk about Christianity and diviners. Our guest speaker tonight we have Mr. John N. Ng'ang'a. Thank you so much for coming. And talking about Christianity and diviners, Mr. John Ng'ang'a, maybe you can start by telling us who is a diviner.
Diviner is a very common term worldwide. This is a person whom you can give your problems to, and you'll be able to tell you who caused the problem and how can you handle them. Witchcraft is bad divination. The guy who comes to create bad omens for you. The diviner is the one who comes to correct what the witch doctor says. Unfortunately, it sounds like the power they use are very similar. So when we talk about divination, we are talking about the practice of trying to find out issues, the future of somebody, the history of somebody, the genesis of the problem they are having currently through some spiritual powers. If I just look at your hair and think that hair is good because of the kind of chemicals you're using, that's not divination, because it's science, I can do it. Divination does not claim that the guy is saying it because he is wise. Divination simply says he has spiritual powers that make him have the ability to find out who you are. But let me say it is in the Bible. Divination is in the Bible. Mm-hmm. I'll go through a series of verses just to show you this divination is something that happened. But I should start by saying, when I was growing up in the 1950s and 60s as a young boy, it was a normal thing. When your child got sick, you went to a diviner, Modomogo, in my culture, who would tell you the reason your baby is sick is because when you are paying the dowry, you did not pay the red goat that's required by that clan. If you went and gave the red goat, then it was assumed your child got sick. It means the spiritual powers were not happy with you. And it's a pity as Christians are going back to traditions, they are not discovering that traditional religion cannot be practiced without a diviner. A diviner was a critical requirement in traditional religion, because how will you know what God wants? Mm-hmm. You know, the God of the Bible has written a Bible. So you can always tell what God wants by going back to the Bible. In traditional religion, there is no way of knowing what is right and wrong without visiting a diviner. So people going back to traditional religion are not understanding, cannot be done. The other day, I listened to a program on one of the vernacular TV, a Kikuyu TV station. And the guy said, you people, let's be honest. We must bring back the diviners. There's no way we will be able to become the true Kikuyus without diviners. The people who tells you what the spirit world is saying. Remember, in most traditional religion, they believe in ancestral worship. The guys who have died are still ruling what you do on earth. And the diviner is a guy able to tell you. But this divination, like I'm saying, is among the whites, is among the blacks, among the greens, if there are any people who are green. Everybody is curious to see what is causing what is happening and what's likely to happen to me in the future. So you can see clearly it is not something that we can say it's just part of ATR, African religion. It's also in Europe, it's everywhere. It's a desire inside us. Might that be the one that made our mother Eve to actually go to take the tree? Because the devil said, did God say you don't eat every tree? Which was a lie. That question was a lie. But our mother gave in. Said, no. On one tree. Said, don't you? If God told you to do that, isn't it because he doesn't want to be like him? If you take it, you will get to know, you will know good and evil. So the lady went and took it. It was good to the mouth and good for opening her eyes. So we always seek to go that program of divination because we really seek to become God ourselves. Our desire is, why should God know more than us? Why should God control our lives? We want to be in control. And to be in control means to understand what's happening to us in future, what has caused where we are today, And that's why divination is so attractive. By the way, when I was not reading newspapers in primary school. I went to a boarding high school more than 50 years ago. And I still remember I saw somebody saying, the stars. I said, what are stars? You know, having been a village boy, I never heard of the stars. That's when I realized whenever our paper for our class or our dormitory was given, the first thing we did was to quickly open. We are not interested in the news of the day. It's my star. So I said, Nana, where's your star? What do you mean my star? I was told the year you are born determines your star. And so the thing would say, if you are born in December, you are called some certain name. Then you are told today you are going to meet somebody who will insult you. And you know, when you meet somebody and they insult you say, it's my star. And you can see that thing is done. I remember a president of America who was also accused of following the stars. You know, the whole superpower on earth was also having that belief system. So you can see this issue of divination is not just part of our African culture. It is in many cultures. But I think the next question we should ask is, what does the Bible say about it?
Yeah.
And I think it's an important thing for us to look at. Ezekiel 12 verse 24 says in the NIV, for there will be no more false visions or flattering divinations among the people of Israel. The description, the adjective for divination is flattery. You know, once the diviner started throws some things up and down, say, it is saying you are going to be rich. We like it. But it will not necessarily, God may not necessarily allow you to become rich. And God is saying, there should not be. You cannot be a biblical person and continue. That's not the only one. Leviticus 19:26. Do not eat any meat with the blood still in it. That's a different thing. Then goes on to say, do not practice divination or seek omens. You know, I was told by my grandfather that every man, elder, has a bird. Nyoni, a bird. Dege. It means that if a boy is the first one to visit that man's house, that day he will have a good omen. Now, if a girl comes, she will not be open for. She will be told, go back, get your brother to come first. Because my grandfather believed that his bird was a boy. And that's why I was liked. Because I'm a boy. Those are the things the Bible is saying. Those kind of a superstition, omens, divinations must stop. And even if it's us Christians who are starting to make certain things, so I say, if you enter the church from the left side, you will not be blessed. You must enter from the right side. Those are the omens we are talking about. And the Bible is saying they are wrong. God can bless you. It's just like people believe in altars. So they say, this room is my altar. Now, the God we believe in, the whole house, the whole earth is his footstool. It means he can bless you anywhere. There isn't a particular place when you pray where prayers will be, God will hear the prayers better. However, it doesn't mean it's bad to choose a place to pray. But do not start thinking that that place of prayer has certain magical powers. Our prayers are answered by God, who is not human. He cannot be located in a particular place. So the Bible is saying these definition, explanations are things that we must. Then Genesis 44:15. Genesis 44 verse 5. Isn't this the cup my master drinks from and also uses for divination? This is a wicked thing you have done. Now you need to understand that we are talking about a home where divination is normal. And in this instance, they were using a cup. And God is saying, this is not the right thing to do. Now, Numbers 22 verse 7. The elders of Moab and Midian left, taking with them the fee for divination. When they came to Balaam, they told him what Balak had said. One of the problems between Balak and Balaam is that Balaam was a man of God, but the king, Balak, was divination. He doesn't want to hear from God. He is becoming feast. Men of God do not charge. That's why many of the people that are asking for seed money are actually diviners. They tell you, I'm the prophet of the Lord, send M-Pesa 1,000 shillings. After that, this will happen. Here, one of the things it's showing us what divination is all about is that it's a fee. Somebody does something for a fee. Mm-hmm. The Bible tells us, freely you have been given, freely give. Mm-hmm. You do not, and then the Bible goes on to say in Numbers 23 verse 23, there is no divination against Jacob, no evil omens against Israel. It will now be said of Jacob and of Israel, see what God has done. We are being promised. Instead of being involved in divination, going to seek mediums and people who talk to the spirits, just trust yourself in God. And it will be impossible, according to this verse, it will be impossible for one who trusts in God, even if the diviners, the witches, the mediums all gather up together to say that this girl is cast. It can't happen. Let me just read it again. Okay. There's no divination against Jacob, no evil omens against Israel. It will now be said of Jacob and of Israel, see what God has done. In other words, there will be no time when we, as the people of God, will have a problem with somebody saying, the reason that girl is blessed is because she enters the church from the left. Or the reason she is blessed is because the pastor put her hand on her. Or because she is blessed, it's because she was poured, she bought oil from a pastor. You know, a lot of Christianity now is witchcraft. Somebody now gets some water done from which river, and then you go to church, they give you a bottle. This is what we are talking about. It's not just African traditional religion. Mm-hmm. It is now in churches where witchcraft is being done daily. You put that water, pour a bit on the ground. There was even another pastor who told people, if you want to buy a piece of land, bring the soil from that land, and then bring to him, he will bless it, so the land will become yours. I don't know whether that's not land grabbing. But you need to understand, God is saying, if you want blessings, put your trust in God. Mm-hmm. There is no divination, no superstition that will do you good. Instead, put your trust fully in God. Then he goes on to say in Deuteronomy 18, verse 14, the nations you will dispossess. Listen to those who practice sorcery and divination. But as for you, the Lord your God has not permitted you to do so. In other words, God does not permit Israel. God does not permit Christians to ever be involved in divination. Instead, simply walk by faith, not by sight. Trust God, whatever the challenges ahead.
This is Culture and Christianity, and tonight we're talking about Christianity and diviners. We'll take a quick commercial break and be right back. Stay tuned.